So you're heading straight to the principal's office. Your transfer's all set. Just sign there. And that was it. No pep talk or anything. You were already standing there with your back on, trying not to let the whole thing feel weirdest. It wasn't mean, just kind of distant. Not warm, but not cold enough to be a total jerk either. You weren't looking for hugs or anything, cause this whole marriage thing was just business, not love. Just something you had to roll with. He tried going to your old college at first, but the commute was a mess. Way too far from his house, and now that you were living here, it didn't make sense anymore. So he transferred to his college. It was easier, closer. You had got psych first, block C, room 204, back left bench. Back left? Why not the middle? Because people watch the middle, and you don't want them watching you. He was totally right. You were the one who wanted to keep the whole marriage on the down low. Not cause you were embarrassed, but cause people just love to gossip. The minute they found out, they'd think every good grading code was just favoritism. Like you couldn't earn it your own. That kind of drama spreads like wildfire around here, and once it starts, it just doesn't quit. I'll pretend I don't know you. You look the same. Yeah, for sure. Got it. He strolled by and snagged his bag off the couch. Your bus pass is on the table. You peeked over and spotted it next to your notebook. He wasn't super chatty, but he always did little things like that. Left stuff where you'd see it. Picked the groceries when he noticed you were out. You did your part too, folding his laundry and making tea when he was up late grading papers. You weren't exactly besties, but you looked out for each other in this jail everyday ways. Not really like a couple, more like two people just vibing together. You slid the pass into your bag. Thanks, don't be late. He said, opening the door. You followed him out a minute later, walking a few steps behind. He didn't look back, and you didn't expect him to. You finally found the room, locked C204. You pushed the door open, and just like that, every single person turned to stare. No one even tried to settle about it. It was the weird silence judgment kind of moment where everyone's eyes were doing the talking. You didn't say a word, just walked down the side aisle and headed straight to the back left seat exactly where Shangok told you to sit this morning. You would already feel a couple people leaning towards each other, whispering. You sat down, pulled out your notebook, and tried to focus on that. And within no time, the door opened again, and of course, it was him. Shango walked in like he didn't just hand you your bus pass 2 hours ago. He didn't even look at you twice. Just went straight to the front, dropped his papers on the desk, and faced the class. The principal informed you had got a transfer student joining us. Where is she? You raised your hand halfway, not looking too interested. He glanced up, gave the smallest nod like you were just some random student, and turned back to the class. She's from XYZ College, completed her first 2 years there, top 5 in her department, excellent academic record. And that's when it happened. A voice came from the front row loud enough to grab attention, but dipped in fake sweetness. Well, looks like we have got real competition now, huh? He looked up just as the girl in front turned and showed you a look. Perfect dress, shiny lip gloss, fake smile. Yeah, she's already didn't like you. Didn't even click who she was till a guy nearby said, Hey Jin, you're shaking. Damn, so that's Hey Jin. The girl with the perfect grades and a fan club in every row, the whole college, the one everyone knew, whose name actually meant something around here, and she was already sizing you up like you were some threat. You didn't even flinch at her look, just like looked down at your notebook and kept moving. You weren't here for drama or some stupid spotlight. You just wanted to finish your degree. If she wanted to play games, cool, she would play by herself. All right, silence. Let's get to a new lesson. He grabbed the marker and turned to the board like nothing happened. But Heijin, girl couldn't chill, kept tossing those little over-the-shoulder glances every few minutes. 1 second she speaks, smiling at the board, next she's speaking at you like you were her personal problem. You weren't giving her the satisfaction. Let her play Kyun Wee. You had way more important things to do. You barely got 2 bites into that dry sandwich before you heard the telltale tales coming your way. You didn't even bother looking up, knew exactly who it was. Asian chopped her tray across from you like this was her table and you were just borrowing it. So a new girl, right? She asked, sipping her juice like this was some pure little meet and greet. Sharp. She laughed, but it was the kind people do when they're trying to hide how pissed they are. Just saying, you made quite the entrance this morning. All that talk by stuff, impressive. Kind of loud though. You leaned back a little, chewing slowly. Didn't realize sitting in silence qualified as loud now, but okay. Her smile dropped just a little. Look, I don't care where you started before. That was there, this is here, and around here I run things. So whatever fantasy you had got about coming in and taking my spot, lose it. You really sat across from me just to let me know you're insecure? Damn, that's tough. Excuse me? I came here to study, not play mean girls. But if you're this shook already, maybe I'm not the one dreaming. She was about to fire something back, probably another weak insult, dressed up as a threat, but her eyes suddenly shifted. You followed her gaze and saw your secret husband, a jungle, walking into the cafeteria. Every professor got stuck with 1 week of lunch monitoring duty, just casually patrolling to make sure no one was fighting or doing dumb stuff. And of course, this week was his, because why wouldn't it be? Heijin stood up so fast that her chair actually scraped. Girl looked like she had been waiting her whole life for a reason to stand in his path. I'll see you later. Now I have something important to deal with. She said, not even looking at you anymore. Good afternoon, Mr. Chen, she said with a sugary tone that made your skin crawl. She stepped into his face like they were close, even though he looked 2 seconds away from walking in the opposite direction. You watched her toss her hair a little, patting her lashes like she was the star of a bad teen drama. You rolled your eyes without even hiding it, and of course he noticed it. His eyes flicked to you for a second before Hygiene started rambling about something stupid. Usually nothing that needed his attention, but she just kept talking like she couldn't let him go. You watch him nod slowly, politely, the way you do when you're stuck in a convo you don't want to be in but also don't want to start a scene. His hand shifted towards his pocket like he was looking for an excuse to leave, and honestly, you didn't blame him. You grabbed your tray and stood up quietly. You didn't even finish your food, just something about sitting there watching her act all 40 with the man who handed you your toothpick last night felt off. You weren't sure what the feeling was exactly, but you knew you didn't want to deal with it. You were standing by the sink scrubbing your plate with way more force than necessary, not because of aging obviously. Definitely not because of the continuously annoying you all these days, but maybe just a little bit. Shanga was next to you, drying the dishes as you passed them over with a towel. You weren't talking, that was pretty normal, but after a few minutes he cleared his throat. Aging is rude to you. I don't care. Then totally out of nowhere he said it. Don't bother replying to her, just let her talk and walk away. Your hands froze under the water. Slowly you turned off the tap and looked at him with your brows raised like, what did you just say? Wait, you're saying I should stay quiet even when she's targeting me for no reason? He just kept drying the dishes like that was safer than talking. I'm not trying to cause drama, I'm not picking fights, but I can't just stand there while someone keeps throwing jabs at me like I have done something wrong. I've been polite, I have stayed out of everything, but you can't seriously expect me to ignore it when someone's coming at me just because they feel like it. I'm sorry. Then you looked away, turned back to the sink, and picked up the next plate, still doing the dishes. She looked still respectful, but he knew you weren't okay with staying silent anymore, and maybe he wasn't sure how to handle that. You were in class early, quietly doing your notes with your earbuds in. It was peaceful until it wasn't. You didn't even notice the footsteps until they stopped right next to your desk. You looked up and there was she again. Hagen standing with two of her girls with the same smug look on her face. Hey, just curious, did you mess with the shared file for our theory project? She blinked once, pulling your earbud out. What? She raised her brows, plain innocent. The doc we all use. Someone deleted the whole format. Timing lines up with your login. I didn't even open that doc. Well, we have the edit history and your ID was on the last change. Yeah, and anyone who has ever worked on a shared doc knows it takes 2 seconds to fake them. I'm not dumb enough to touch a file that affects everyone's grade. Oh, you girl, from the first day I have been watching you. You walk in here like you have got something to prove. Like you're smarter than anyone, even me. So yeah, I do think you do something that messes the rest of us up, just to make yourself look better. You stood up from your seat with your fist clenched. Watch what you're saying. Or what, you'll slap me. She leaned in, smiling like she was enjoying this. Then she grabbed your hand and yanked it towards her own face. Come on, do it. Hit me right here. Your eyes widened for a second, thrown by how unhinged that move was. You pulled your hand back immediately and pushed her away enough to make her let go. What the hell is wrong with you? You're insane. You turned, grabbing her back, ready to walk the hell out before things get even worse. But then she grabbed your collar from behind and yanked you backward just enough to make you stumble. Go ahead, go run and report me. File a complaint. I'm sure the department will take your side. You probably sleep with half of them anyway. You didn't even hear the sharp gasp from her friend or catch the few heads turning around you. It was like your brain shut off for a second. Your whole body just went still. Cold out everything at once. She just turned and showed her heart, not some pretty push to prove a point. This came from somewhere deeper, straight from your gut, from the fire that been sitting there burning in silence. Agent flew back like a rag doll, smacked the classroom door so hard it slammed open, and collapsed right at Jungkook's feet. He looked up slowly, still catching your breath, and there he was, frowning at you like you were some kind of problem student who just ruined his morning. Are you serious, Ryan? Before you could even open your mouth, Higgins clutched her elbows dramatically and gasped out. Professor John, she said to me, I only asked about the project file and she lost it. She just attacked me. She stared at her son. She was still acting, still flipping the story with zero shame. I'm not the one who started this. She has been throwing disgusting comments at me. She accused me of things I didn't even do. Do you think I... Too late, while the department already received the file history. The log shows your name on the edit, and in that moment you forgot how to breathe. The fact that he actually believed it felt like a slap on your face. He knew you live under the same roof, eat dinner in silence with you every night, and yet this is what he thought. I didn't do it. I swear to God I didn't. Maybe you didn't knowingly do it, but maybe you unknowingly. Either way, it's your fault. Tears welled in your eyes as you searched his face for any hint of interest, understanding. Instead, you looked away, and for one agonizing moment, your world shattered inside you. Okay, fine. If everyone wants me to be the one who did it, then let it be. Decide the punishment. I'm ready. She picked up your bag from the floor, not bothering to wipe the tears that has already streaked down your cheeks. Her legs moved on autopilot as you walked towards the door, but stopped in front of him just inches away. It's scary how easy it was for you to believe I could lie. She walked on, refusing to let your head drop on your shoulders, Paul. If they were going to accuse you, whisper about you, believe the worst about you, then fine, but they weren't going to see you crumble. He came home hours later, long after the house had gone quiet. He didn't expect you to be in the living room or waiting with questions. That was never your thing, especially not now. But what he didn't expect was the sound of zippers. He stepped into your room and the sight before him made him freeze. There you were, kneeling by the bed and was driving clothes into an open duffel bag in frustration. His suitcase, flat by the wall, was already half full, and next to it, your notebooks, chargers, water bottle, all the things that said you were leaving. You didn't even look at him when he stepped in, but your face said everything. Your eyes were red and puffy. That dead, tired kind of sadness that didn't need much to be loud. He stood there for a second, not sure if walking in was a mistake. Still, he said it anyway. Why? She didn't answer, just sit with the small bag and reached for your hoodie, not even glancing his way. He stepped closer, then slowly reached out and touched your shoulder, and you flinched like it burned. Don't reach for me when you already let go. I didn't mean to, just please listen to me. Listen to what you know, that maybe I did it unknowingly, that I should just breathe through it. You know I held it together through all of it. The rumors, the words, the stares. I wasn't broken, not until you looked at me like that, like you didn't know me at all. He didn't say anything because what the hell could he say now? He stood there holding the bag strap in one hand and your pipe in the other. I thought you knew me. You did all those things for me, little things. Snacks when I stayed up late, covering me for when I forgot lunch, making sure I had everything. Your throat tightened and you blinked first trying to push it all back down. I thought you were doing all that because you swallowed hard then looked at him and your voice kept breaking just enough. Because I was something to you. You blinked like the words hit harder than you meant them to. You took a shaky breath, laughing bitterly under it. But now I say it, I wasn't anything. Just someone under your roof, someone you had to feed and protect because of a goddamn marriage. You shook your head, looking down at it like it was all too ridiculous now. Not your wife, not your student, not even your friend, just your responsibility. I didn't burden you with anything. I didn't ask for love. I didn't ask you to stay by my side or give me anything more than what you already gave. You had freedom, John Austen, all the freedom after being a husband, all the freedom in the world to be read about to Professor everyone in that damn college rolls over. I didn't stop you. I never once questioned you, never once held you back. But you couldn't. Your chest rose sharply as the words burst out of you. You couldn't even stand for me. Nor did I even do wrong. You didn't care if the whole house heard you, because in that moment it wasn't about pride anymore. It was pain, and he needed to hear every bit of it. You wiped your tears quickly with your hand like you were angry at them for being there. Then you looked at him. He looked broken. Maybe he was thinking why you weren't letting him explain, why you were just packing up and shutting him out. But where was that energy when you stood in front of him in that classroom, when you were being humiliated in front of everyone? And one more thing, don't blame me. Maybe if tomorrow I wake up and start thinking you did all that for you. Why? No, I had every right to think that way. You didn't back me up, you didn't even hesitate. You stood there and let her paint me as the bad guy and said maybe I did it unknowingly. Like I was just some girl to you, nothing more. And now you want to explain? Now it's convenient. I don't want to hear anything. He opened his mouth again, but you cut him off before he could even get a word out. And I don't want to stay with you either. You said it slow like you needed him to feel every inch of what that meant. But I'm not quitting the college. I didn't do anything wrong, so I don't give a shit about freezing anymore. They want a bespoke stare, make up more crap, let them. I'll be there, sitting in that same damn seat, taking notes, acing every test like I always have. She bent down, sipped the bag the rest of the way, and stood up at me. But I'm not coming back to this house, not until I stop looking at you and feeling like I was stupid to ever think I mattered. You stopped at the door with your hand on the frame, not even looking back when you spoke. Don't worry, I'm not gonna tell my parents the man they chose for me can't be trusted. I'll just say you're out of town, and honestly, that's not a lie. A small bitter smile pulled out your lips as you looked forward aching. Because you're out of town now, out of my heart. You walked out with your bag slung over your shoulder like you were in the one bleeding on the inside. He didn't stop you, didn't call your name, didn't beg, because he couldn't. He didn't have the strength. What you didn't see was the moment of that door shut, when his knees almost buckled, and the first tear slipped down his cheek like it had been waiting all damn day to fall. It was followed by another, then another until they wouldn't stop. Because you were gone, and the one thing you said that ripped him apart the most was nothing to you. You wanted to scream, break something, undo everything. You were in nothing. You were everything he never said out loud. The way you remember his coffee order better than he did. The way you kept the porch light on when you stayed up studying. The way you never asked for his attention, but he always noticed when you left a little space next to you at dinner, like just in case he felt like sitting closer that day. And somehow, in a house full of silence and space, you made it feel like home. You didn't know when it happened, but somewhere between the missed dinners and shared laundry baskets, you became the only part of his day you looked forward to. Even when neither of you said much, you dropped right there in the middle of the room like the strength had drained from every part of his body all at once. You didn't know if not stopping you, not calling your name, not grabbing your hand, even just for a second. You didn't know if all that was mercy or just another mistake. Maybe he thought he was doing the right thing back then. Maybe he told himself staying quiet would protect you. That waiting until things calmed down was smarter than making it worse. But none of that mattered now, because the look on your face when you said I was nothing to you, that was going to haunt him.